know what the It's like American Pickers, if by American you mean nose. Let's get a preview of tonight's show from Bill Morgan in the newsroom. Bill, tell us what we have in store for tonight's show.
Good evening, Jim. Tonight we have a plethora of interesting stories. First of all, on Election Day, when you go into that voting booth and you pull the red curtain behind you, do you know what actually goes through your mind and motivates you to do what you do? Well, if you do, you've obviously never voted in California because we don't have voting booths. We have these little cardboard tabletops on tubes made out of recycled toilet paper legs. It's very dignified. But while you may think what you're doing is going in and seeking revenge on the candidate that has the most annoying commercials, what you're really doing might be something different. And tonight the panel will discuss what's really going on in your tiny little head. Secondly, we've all been there. You're at work, you're standing in front of the recycling bins, you're trying to figure out, does my leftover blotter acid go in paper or table scraps? Now, if you have leftover, chances are you're going to make the right choice. But what if you had to dispose of your body? Have it ever occurred to you what you do then? And again, that's probably a function of whether or not you have leftover acid. But today, the capable panel will be discussing bodily waste. Next story after that, I don't know if you can see this, but I've got this like permanent scar on my cheek from back in the day when I used to frequently ask women if they were interested in a threesome with them and their mother. They thought I was disgusting, but what I was really doing was research, motivated only by my love of science. And today the panel is going to discuss that same sort of thing when they review their love of, or their fascination with, MILFs. And then finally, if you're like me, you spend most of your time at meetings, like the ones preparing for this show, rolling your eyes, sighing heavily. And we're going to discuss whether or not such antisocial and passive-aggressive behavior is even appropriate. The panel will see if they can agree, or whether there's too many of them. Jim?
Bill, thanks a lot, and we'll see you at the end of the show. Okay, they're cool, they're collected, and self-directed. But enough about icicles, let's meet our guest. Starting with the person opposite from me, she's a member of the Bay Area comedy troupe Suburban Squirrels, Teresa Condon. She's so hot, the sun refuses to take pictures with her. Kind of sad, really. Next to her, he's former Starbucks and Pete's barista and recent winner of the Midget Cage Fighting Battle Royal, the Tiny Tumble. It's James Ilg. If stage presence was the Batcave, Robin would go down on his pole. Next to him, it's Rusty King, host of the award-winning KMVT show, King's Connection. He's won so many awards, his award ceremonies hold their own award ceremony. Kind of sad, isn't it? And finally, it's salesman extraordinaire, Scott Birch. If candor was a urinal, thousands of men would expose themselves to him daily. Hey, aren't you glad it isn't, Scott? Anyways, let's go to issue 1. Do our genes determine how we politically lean? Does our DNA determine how we vote on Election Day? New research from the University of California, San Diego, and Harvard suggests that the ideology is affected not just by social factors, but also by the presence of a dopamine receptor gene, DRD4. The study's authors say that this is the first research to identify a specific gene that predisposes people to certain political views. The research focused on 2,000 subjects and matched genetic information with maps of the subject's social networks. The researchers were able to show that people with a specific variant of the DRD4 gene were more likely to be liberal as adults, but only if they had an active social life as teenagers. Previous research has identified a connection between scroll up on the teleprompter, between a variant of the DRD4 and novelty-seeking behavior. Researchers speculate that people with a novelty-seeking gene variant would be more interested in learning about other points of view and be exposed to a wider variety of social norms and lifestyles, which might make them more liberal. For more, we go to the president of the Future Democrats of America. I'm not sure if he's the next Barack or the next Bill, but let's start with our first question. I'm going to go to you, Scott, since you are very politically active. Do you buy this study?
Yeah, I do. I've always felt that, whenever I see someone who happens to be just a, little left of me, there's something wrong with them. I'm not really sure what it was. I had no idea it was a gene until I read this study. But let me say that the one thing I think they missed on this study was that the study didn't include the fact that the women tend to have really hairy legs and really hairy arms, and that the men tend to lay down in the fetal position and constantly be scared.
I did not know that the study realized that there was a correlation between that dopamine gene receptor and hairy legs or fetal position men. Did you get that from the study?
It was on the back side.
Footnotes?
Side B. Side B. It was on
okay.
side B.
Yeah. Hey, Rusty, what do you think? Are you buying this?
I'm a convicted felon, so I can't vote.
Oh, okay. I think they have a gene. They have gene markers for that too. I don't think they've identified it, but if there was a treatment available to get rid of it or to reduce it, would you take it?
Why not? I'll try it. I mean, that's how I got my felonies, was trying all these different things.
Did you ever try anything in the prison drug experiment program?
I actually came to this television station on the deferred prosecution program. And that's true. That's why that's funny.
All right. Hey, James, what about you? You buying this?
Well, I don't know about that. So they're saying that being conservative is more normal, and you're defective if you're liberal.
I don't think they attached any value judgment to it. They just figured this is the gene that makes it.
But if that was so, then are you normal? And how normal are you?
If the shoe fits.
I'm probably not normal, but not for that reason. There are other reasons, James. You should figure that out. So what about you, Teresa? You buying this?
I have a lot of friends who are liberal, and similar to Scott, I've always thought there might be a little something different about them. Not making any judgments, of course, just like the article. But, basically, they're a little different than the rest of us. I would wonder what would happen if the people who had this gene variant did not have an active social life. I mean, would they become very open to if they stayed inside only playing video games or on television, would they become very open to those opinions? Or I don't know. Okay. There would be people who become more violent later on. I don't know. All
right, we got a minute left, and wow, time flies. But I just to throw it out to the group, if you knew that for genetic therapies, there's treatments for various things. So if there was a treatment for this particular gene or genetic profile, would any of you take it?
See, now you are saying it's abnormal.
No, I'm just throwing it out there.
You mean to change from a conservative to, liberal and conservative?
No, it's to cure you from your liberalism.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Exactly.
It's not to change parties then. There's no party affiliation.
Or would you perhaps look at it as not having this gene is a genetic defect, and therefore you take a treatment to add the receptor? Either way.
Evolving, in other words.
Well, a brave new world.
Whatever it is, I hope they don't take it, because we all need someone to laugh at.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Wouldn't that eventually be a way to control the population?
Could be, but for example, homosexuality, they think they've identified the genes that make you more predisposed to being gay.
Yeah.
Similar question. I mean, it's like if it was like for the gay gene, would you think people would choose or develop a treatment for the condition?
James, how does that gay gene work?
Well, let me tell you, Scott.
No.
Not very well, okay? That's all I can say.
When he says gay, that means
it's just tight. That's
the
my
type
fault.
you wear, not the type you're born with.
I stand corrected.
There went my joke, because I was going to say the last gay jeans I got at Macy's look great on me.
Yeah, those are the
Liberace.
Rusty. Those are known as leather chaps. The ones that don't have the backside.
Yeah,
but
you peaked.
Missing a panel.
Yeah, pretty much. We're missing it. Oh, good look. Did a part of the paddle fall down? Oh, God. Yeah. That's why we wear pants.
What do you think I'm sitting on?
Oh, God forbid. Okay. All right, let's go on to issue number 2. Even if we're stronger, why don't we live longer? While God made Adam first, did he make Eve to last? Professor Tom Kirkwood of the University of Newcastle has a new theory for why women live longer than men. Men are more biologically disposable. The theory goes that the female body is better at carrying out routine maintenance and keeping the body's cells alive. So much for guys being low maintenance, right? Or is it? It seems that men are more disposable than women because the cells in our bodies are not genetically programmed to last as long as they are in females. Among other things, we don't last as long. Right, ladies? All right. Also, from an evolutionary standpoint, the state of the female body is very important for the success of reproduction, whereas once a man impregnates a woman, his health is less directly dependent on his continued good health. Sounds like a threat from a father-in-law, doesn't it? Anyways, Professor Kirkwood's research also shows that females in most animal species live longer than males, and studies have also shown that neutered animals live longer and castrated men live longer than their ballsy counterparts. Or perhaps us men are just more genetically predisposed to do this.
It's an ice pack. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, when they, I did edit part of that video. In the beginning of the video, there is a woman encouraging him to go jump. So, all right, I'm going to start with you, Teresa. Teresa, you buy this?
Okay. I after every breakup, my friends and I will be discussing the guy, and we've pretty much come to the same conclusion. Guys are pretty useless and disposable. And if castrating them really does them a favor and helping them live longer, I think sometimes we happy to help do the job. Yeah.
Okay, based on that, I'm going to throw that question
Can
to
I
you guys.
sit next to you?
If you guys, for you guys, if you knew you could live a few years longer, would you do the snippety snip snip?
I castrated myself when I joined this panel. I should live forever.
Wait a minute, how long? Wait, Rusty, how long ago was that?
About a half an hour ago.
Okay, please tell me you didn't get a to-go bag. And if it's that big, I swear, if my McNuggets are weird after this show, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you.
You know, I have 3 ex-wives, so obviously I'm quite disposable. So,
So what'd you do with the third wife? I assume the first one took one, the second one took the other. What'd you do with the third one?
I think she's around here somewhere.
No, but what did she take from you? Okay, James Scott, if you knew you could live a few years longer, would you do the snip snip?
I don't think so. And I'm only saying that because after listening to Teresa, I have this incredible urge to cross my legs now.
That must be the secret to your appeal, Teresa.
You haven't made me angry yet. So.
How about you, Scott?
No, I'm not doing it. If I live longer, I have to hear my wine nag more. Love you, honey.
All right. So basically, you'll give up the extra years just to be with the boys, right?
I just want to die. I mean, that's the whole point. Is like, and that's why we're excited. We get to die. Our life's gonna end.
It's like being a male. It's like being a male praying mantis, right? Once you do what you do, then they just bite your head off.
Outstanding.
Right? Is that pretty much about it, Rusty?
It could be that, I guess. I never quite looked at it in the insect world.
James, Teresa?
I never stopped thinking about it in the insect world.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly right.
So, Teresa, now you know what your new dating profile name will be. Either Black Widow or Praying Mantis.
Yeah.
Mantis.
Shiv.
All right. I think we're at...
Name of the Shiv.
Oh, is that French? A nice French lady.
Shiv.
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 All right, I think we're at the end of our next segment, so let's go. So, what's it like to be a groupie for a boy band? Rusty King will tell us about his summer love with Menudo after the break.